What up, everybody? And today on Nino News, we got the breaking story of Alec Baldwin being charged for the 2021 shooting death on one of his movies in New Mexico. Let's get right to it. Now, this is pretty interesting, ladies and gentlemen. It broke today all over the internet. I mean, there's memes galore and much more. There's no secret that Alec Baldwin is a straight Trump hater. He suffers from TDS, and you could tell that's all the guy talks about and rants about when he's on SNL and all that, but I digress. Today, the news broke that they're going to charge this guy and others for the shooting death of a cinematographer while on set in New Mexico. Let's go to this article, ladies and gentlemen. Alec Baldwin and armorer Hannah Gutierrez-Reed will face criminal charges for the October 2021 fatal shooting of Russ cinematographer Helena Hutchins on the film set, the Santa Fe district attorney said Thursday. Close to 16 months after Baldwin shot Hutchins and wounded the movie's director Joel Souza, man, this dude was bucking, wasn't he, y'all? With a loaded gun during rehearsal on the set of the Indy Western, New Mexico First Judicial District Attorney Mary Carmack Altwise finally unveiled her decision as to who should be charged and not charged in the tragic incident. After a thorough review of the evidence and the laws of the state of New Mexico, I have determined that there is sufficient evidence to file criminal charges against Alec Baldwin and other members of the Russ film crew. Carmack Altwise said this morning, "On my watch, no one is above the law and everyone deserves justice. Let's go." We agree. We don't support violence or any acts thereof. In charges set to be formally filed by the end of the month, Baldwin and Gutierrez-Reed will each be charged with 2 counts of involuntary manslaughter in the Hutchins death. Heading towards a hearing before a state judge and then a jury trial, the first charge is a 4th-degree felony with sentencing up to 18 months in jail and a $5,000 fine. The second charge, which is formally an involuntary manslaughter in the commission of a lawful act charge, is also a 4th-degree felony punishable by 18 months in jail and up to a $5,000 fine as well. However, the second charge additionally carries a firearm enhancement. Wow, that gives the offense a punishing mandatory 5 years behind bars if Baldwin and Gutierrez-Reed are found guilty. They'll probably, I believe, run a concurrent, right? But then that's a 5 years mandatory, y'all. Wow, that's crazy. Long a key figure in the event surrounding Hutchins' death, Russ assistant director, this is crazy, David Halls reached a plea agreement. He's talking, right? He's squealing with prosecutors for the charge of negligent use of a deadly weapon, the DA's office said today. The industry vet faces a suspended sentence and 6-month probation. Hey, he took the deal, y'all. He busted he busted a maneuver. Basically, this guy seems like a co-defendant of, Gutierrez and Baldwin. And if this guy's already singing and already got charged, and is facing, he's facing, he basically pled to this, y'all, and he took a deal. So that means right there that it's not going to look good for Baldwin, in my opinion. Let's continue reading. While Baldwin has in the past vowed to fight any charges, Hall's plea deal and the cooperation he likely provided, right, to prosecutors could become a major factor for Baldwin going forward. Told you, basically, the co-D done worked out a deal, so it's going to be harder for Baldwin to do, anything, in my opinion. Let's see here. If any one of these 3 people, Alec Baldwin, Hannah Gutierrez, or David, had done their job, Helena Hutchins will be alive today. It's that simple, said Andrea Reed, the special prosecutor assigned to the case. The evidence clearly shows a pattern of criminal disregard for safety on the Russ film set. In New Mexico, there is no room for film sets that don't take our state's commitment to gun safety and public safety seriously. Wow. Let's get to this clip, y'all. Here we're going to go to Fox News, and I'm telling y'all, it does not look good for this guy. I know a lot of people are saying that he's a liberal. He's going to get off with a slap on the wrist. This is New Mexico. I'm in Texas. I know they don't play, y'all. So we will see what happens. Let's get to this clip right here of Judge Janine interviewing, I guess, I don't know if it's the prosecutor or not. We'll get to it. Let's go.
Start with DA Carmack Altwise. What evidence exactly convinced you to charge Baldwin in this case?
Well, there was really a totality of the evidence. Mr. Baldwin had a duty at the base level to never hold a gun and point it at a person while pulling the trigger. But he also had a duty as an actor and a producer on that set to have the bullets checked or to check them himself to make sure that they weren't live.
You can't just blame somebody, right? You can't just take the pistol and start bucking, and, you know what I'm saying, and try to put the blame on someone else, which I believe Alec Baldwin is trying to do, trying to blame somebody else for his actions. At the end of the day, he held the pistol, y'all. It was up to him to inspect the weapon to make sure everything was on the up and up. Let's continue.
And he had a duty to make sure that the set was a safe set. And we know from multiple accounts that it was not a safe set. He should have known, he should have done something about it. So it was all of that that led to the decision to charge him.
Whoa.
All right, and maybe I'll go to Special Prosecutor Reed. Baldwin has repeatedly denied pulling the trigger. Take a listen to this.
I didn't pull the trigger.
So you never pulled the trigger?
No. I would never point a gun at anyone and pull a trigger at them. Never. That was the training that I had. You don't point a gun at me and pull the trigger.
I'm going to tell you something real quick. If it was me, I'm going to be honest. If it was me, I would not be doing interviews, especially, you know what I'm saying, before this whole thing is even over with. How stupid is this dude right here?
On day one of my instruction in this business, people said to me, never take a gun and go click, 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 because even though it's incremental, you damage the firing pin on the gun if you do that. Don't do that.
It appears that you have evidence that contradicts this claim. Do you?
Yes, we do, and we definitely believe he pulled the trigger. The FBI lab report confirms that, so definitely the trigger was pulled.
The feds are involved.
All right, so his statement is not correct under any circumstance.
He's lying.
We don't believe it is.
All right. And back to DA Carmack Altwise. Involuntary manslaughter, the penalty is generally 18 months in jail. But your charge includes a firearm enhancement, which makes the crime punishable by an additional 5 years in jail. In fact, a mandatory 5 years in jail. Which are you seeking?
That's right.
Lock him up.
Well, that'll be up to the judge and or the jury. We have charged him with involuntary manslaughter in the alternative, meaning that it's 2 counts, although he will only ultimately be convicted of 1 count. Wow. So we have charged him based on reckless disregard for safety, and we've also charged him based on the misdemeanor statute of negligent use of a deadly weapon. And it's only the reckless disregard that carries that 5-year enhancement that is in fact mandatory. So if a jury finds him guilty of that, he could be facing up to 6.5 years.
Interesting. And so when you say it's up to the judge or jury, if he decides to go non-jury, the judge will decide that ultimately, but the jury will have the option to decide it themselves in the alternative theories, correct?
Wow.
That's right. That's correct.
All right. Will Baldwin be arrested, or will he be allowed to turn himself in?
In this jurisdiction, for cases such as this, we do not generally arrest. So he will be summoned, and then he will have to appear probably via video for his first appearance. After that, he will have to come in person. But we do not anticipate asking for or finding that he is arrested.
Okay. And to the special prosecutor, we've heard that there were real problems on this set, including discharges of 2 live rounds.
Wow.
People walking off the set, saying it was unsafe. They didn't want to work there. Did Baldwin know about this, and did he do anything about it?
Well, we believe Baldwin, as a producer, knows everything that goes on this set. And so, there was a lot of problems. There was a lot of, there were a couple accidental discharges. There was a lot of safety concerns that were brought to the attention of management, and he did nothing about it. So this was a loose and reckless scene where safety was compromised just to save money. And it was a big problem. And I think he definitely should have known as a producer what was going on, and did know what was going on.
All right, so he did know. All right, and the DA, you made the decision to charge Dave Halls, the second armorer, who said cold gun, with the lesser crime of the negligent use of a deadly weapon and not involuntary manslaughter.
Wow.
Why? And will his testimony against Baldwin be required as a part of that plea?
We chose to make a plea agreement with David Halls, who's the assistant director, because he came and he acknowledged his responsibility and his culpability in this incident. And so we felt that coupled with I believe his lesser culpability justified the plea. And just so you know, we also talked it over with Matthew Hutchins, and he agreed with it. He will be required to testify in the 2 other cases against his co-defendants or involving his co-defendants. So he will testify when Hannah Gutierrez Reed goes to trial and potentially when Alec Baldwin goes to trial.
Do you believe that there will be a joint trial or separate trials?
It will start off as joint for the prelim. After that, the lawyers, I'm anticipating, will file motions to have the 2 cases separated, and there will probably be 2 jury trials.
Yeah, I suspect they'll be shooting. Well, it's not a good word. I suspect they'll be pointing at each other in terms of their defense. Now,
right.
There were also reports that Baldwin directed his assistant to delete archives on his phone, as well as a report that later came out that there were no calls on his phone on the day of the incident, on October 21st, I think it was, in 2021. Did you analyze the records? And was Baldwin cooperative during this investigation?
We did analyze the phone records, and actually we're continuing to analyze them. And there were some things missing. The problem is we're not sure whether it was intentional on Baldwin's part. We are continuing to investigate that.
And he did direct the assistant to delete an archive, correct?
That is in his text messages, correct, and that is part of our investigation.
Did Baldwin cooperate?
Yes, he cooperated in that he did willingly turn over his phone after some negotiations with his lawyers.
Okay, but you had to get involved with his attorneys before he did that, correct?
That's correct.
And those same attorneys gave a statement saying that the charges against Baldwin represented a miscarriage of justice and that the defendant Baldwin had no reason to believe there was a live bullet in the gun or a live round or anywhere on the movie set. What's your reaction to that?
Wow.
Well, my reaction is the miscarriage of justice would be if nobody was held to account for Helena Hutchins' death. This is about her and what happened to her.
Yep.
And so I believe that we are doing what is right for Helena Hutchins and what's right for the process and the integrity of law. No one is above the law. Everyone is equal before the law. And that's one of the reasons that he's charged.
Okay, and to the special prosecutor, look, both of you have enough experience as DAs, as prosecutors. There's no denying that the ramifications of your decision are worldwide. And as a result of a high-profile case, some say, some like me, a former DA, that the burden of proof almost seems to be even higher. Did you feel any pressure to go one way or the other?
You know, we looked at this case for a long time, and sure, there's a lot of media attention, and Alec Baldwin's an A-list actor, but again, we were just looking at the facts of the case, and again, Alec Baldwin, he is an A-list actor, and there's a lot of, hype around all that, but he isn't above the law. We're more concerned with getting justice for Helena Hutchins and also making it clear that these movies need to invest in safety, and on a low-budget film like Rust, safety is not something that needs to be compromised, and that's what happened here. And so, we don't feel public pressure. We're prosecutors. We're doing the right thing and what the facts support, and we believe it supports involuntary manslaughter. So, no pressure. This is what we do. This is our job.
Right. And to the DA, I mean, this is your county. Did you feel any pressure?
No, not one way or another. Obviously, there's been an immense amount of interest in this, but we get interest in many types of cases. This might have more interest than the average case, but the point was every case, we look at it from the victim's perspective, and we try to get justice for the victims and for the citizens of this county. We don't want people that are going to be cavalier with gun safety, and that's what this is about, is holding people to account for what they did wrong, and we believe that it's criminal.
Will you engage in plea negotiations with Baldwin?
I can't comment on that at this point. It would be unethical for a prosecutor to talk about that.
I remember that. Thank you both for your time, DA Mary Carmack Altweiss and Special Prosecutor and former DA herself, Andrea Reeb. Thanks for being with us.
Okay, interesting. So let's get back over here, y'all. Back to my final part of the video here. Let's go ahead and get to this real quick. I'm messing up, y'all. My bad.
I'm so fat.
Brendan, you're not fat. It's the shirt. Look at Nate.
Sorry about that, y'all. Okay, liberals were right. Trump is going to jail, but it's this Trump that's going to jail, y'all. This dude's a straight Trump hater. I don't know if he's going to jail. Just a little bit of a comedy to jam in there, but to be honest, it's really not a laughing matter due to someone losing their life. But it's just kind of strange that, you know, this guy is a bleeding heart liberal, right? They're against guns and all this, yet they make movies that not just push, you know, violence, but someone actually has died on this guy's movie set. He's so anti-gun and so pro-lib and anti-Trump, yet he makes money off of these movies, and someone has also died because of his, you heard it, negligence in one of these movies. So with that, y'all, I guess we'll see what happens. You know, will he be held accountable for the death of this person on the set? I don't know. You know, we honestly don't know, but we're going to keep you up to date about this whole situation, and hopefully justice prevails. Let me know in the comments if you think he will be held accountable, or do you think, like many are already saying, he's just going to get a slap on the wrist due to him being an A-list celebrity / bleeding heart liberal. You're an American. You're a patriot. You got grit. Act like it. I'm out.